So I wanted to do a quick little clip of basically all my new colors I've gotten and what I've been using in all of the videos I've been posting, because whenever I'm painting, it's really hard for me to like talk. And plus, you know, whenever I'm watching videos, so sometimes I'm just like, okay, I don't need to know the colors. I want to know what you're doing and how you're doing it. But then I do want to know the colors, but you know, maybe at the end. So I've been experimenting with that, like maybe put it at the end. I don't know, but I wanted to show off all my new colors because I am obsessed. I got some wonderful pigments from this little Piggy Pigments. The art is just, woo, she's amazing. But yeah, I'm going to go over all that right now, I guess. All right, so we're going to start with the middle, I guess, since we're right here. So these are my iridescents. So I'm obsessed with neons and iridescents. So every time I paint, it's either going to be with neons and iridescents, with a couple, you know, traditional colors maybe thrown in there. I'm obsessed with the sparkle and the glow. Anyways, so for my iridescents, I've been using copper, and this is my favorite copper that there is out there that I've tried a bunch of them, but Artist Loft's copper is the best. Specifically their pre-mixed one, which I know is like taboo when you're actually mixing with your own, you know, ingredients, your own medium, but it works. It really does work. It works. You have to kind of tweak a little bit, you know, once you get the feel for like the consistency that you're going for, you can kind of play and manipulate. Once you know the consistency, you can really mess with any paint to make it work, you know, the consistency that you're going for. But anyways, so this is copper, Artist Loft, and this is it mixed on up. I should get some sticks and actually show you what that looks like, shouldn't I? I'll be right back. Okay, I got the sticks. Let me show you. So this is Artist Loft's pre-mixed copper. I also threw in some 24 karat gold from Deco Art Extreme Sheen. But there's that consistency you want. See how it like kind of mounds up? And then it slowly molds back to its original shape. But it definitely leaves a trail. So that is Artist Loft copper, the pre-mixed Artist Loft's copper with a little bit of Deco Art's Extreme Sheen gold, 24 karat gold, which I will show you next. We have 24 karat gold by Extreme Sheen, Deco Art Extreme Sheen. It is the best gold I have found through using multiple golds. It just gives that, it packs that shimmering punch that I'm looking for. A lot of the golds just don't have. I want that glitter, you know? And this is 24 karat gold from Deco Art Extreme Sheen. Ooh, sparkles. Look at the sparkles. I feel like it's so hard to see with my stupid ring light, but if I don't have my ring light on, I'd be sitting in darkness. Alright. So that is the 24 karat gold Deco Art Extreme Sheen. I use it in almost every painting. Next, we'll show you the difference with Amsterdam. Okay, and now we have the other one-off brands I like to use that you can get at really any art store, like Deco Art Extreme Sheen, any art store. Artist Loft, to be honest, I think you can only get that at Michael's, because it's the only place I found it. It's not at Hobby Lobby, it's not any other art stores I've seen, so yeah. But the other one-off that you can find at pretty much any art store is folk art, except you kind of have to go to like the specific art stores to get the color shifts that you want, because sometimes they only carry certain ones. Like I have right now the Green Flash color shift from Folk Art. Again, you can't see it on my damn ring light, but let me show you that one. Ta-da. Ta-da, ta-da. See, nice and stringy. My newest ones that I've got, that I've added to the repertoire, is my Arteza. First, oh yeah, let me show you the Amsterdam like I said I would. So I also got Amsterdam in light gold. Now Amsterdam brand paints is really what I use for my cell activators, because it's just magic that way. I really think that's part of the magic. And I did try it, the gold, as a cell activator, but it's, you know, it's not a full opaque, so it didn't have that punch I needed. Still pretty though, so I mixed it up and still want to use it in painting. So this is what it looks like. There we go. It's the light. It's just a little bit lighter. It's still sparkly though. It's still really pretty. It's pretty much the same, just a little bit lighter. A little bit. See how it's a little like brighter than the Artist Loft copper? I mean, it's really pretty. Still like Artist Loft's copper better, but I do like the orangey undertone here. It's pretty. Marmalade by Arteza. And then we have, darling, the one that I was so excited about, and then it just kind of disappointed me, is Arteza Royal Pearl Purple. Ooh, a little stringy there. I mean, see, it's not as rich as I want it to be. Not as deep. It's got too much of that, like, lavendery thing to it. I don't know. It's just not, it's not exactly what I was hoping for. Still really pretty, though. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so that was my iridescence. And the iridescence, I mix all of my colors the same. I use Valspar Reserve, found at Lowe's, in Base C, Satin, and Valspar Ultra, Base C, and Semi-Gloss. With the iridescence, I usually use more of the Reserve because the iridescents tend to be a little bit, you know, a little bit more fluid, if you will, thinner. But like the Artezas, they weren't. So I used a little bit of the Ultra with them because the Ultra is much thinner than the Reserve. And Deco Art Extreme Sheen, you're gonna want to use the Valspar Reserve, the thicker one. And same a little bit with the Artist Loft too, because it's pre-mixed, so it's already got that fluidness to it. And now we can move on to my favorite part, my pigments. Oh my God, do I love this little piggy pigments. Okay, so like I said, I love neons, and it's super hard to find neon paint that's opaque. And this little piggy pigments has beautiful pigments in the best colors, neon opaque. So we've got here, I have it all in the rainbow. So we've got Inferno, fluorescent red, Boogie, fluorescent orange, Techno, fluorescent yellow, Rave, fluorescent blue, Deja Vu, fluorescent purple, and Hustle, fluorescent magenta. The only one I haven't tried yet is the fluorescent green, which is grunge, I do believe. They do have some other ones, but green's the only one I haven't tried yet. So if I don't have this little piggy pigments neons, the other ones that are really good to use are Liquitex. Liquitex has great neons. Their colors are really good. They don't have a purple though. So I've been using Liquitex fluorescent green, which I will get to in a moment. But let's get back to the pigments. Okay, so here I have my fluorescent pigments mixed up. So let me get to showing you them. We've got, here we go now. We got Hustle, fluorescent magenta. And see how the consistency is still matching up with the iridescence, even though these start out as powder. When you're mixing your pigments, you gotta start with your varnish first. So you always need to add varnish to, you know, thin out the paints and whatnot. You thicken them and then you thin them. It's to get that perfect stringy, stretchy consistency. So yeah, you put some pigment in a little cup, and then you put your varnish in there, and you gotta like knead it in there, like ever so gently, and just bing, 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 bing. I'm gonna do a video showing how I mix my pigments eventually. Mixing is kind of a pain in the butt, but yeah, it takes forever. It takes hours, especially with how many colors I use. And then definitely the Valspar Reserve with the pigments, because again, they start out as powder, turn to straight up liquid. Yeah, thicken those bad boys up. So that's why you want to use the reserve. I've had to use the ultra. Okie dokie. Back to showing you these awesome colors. So this is Deja Vu, the neon purple. Again, check the consistency. It's still, even though it starts out as a powder to a liquid, it still gets that right consistency it's trying to get. Isn't that beautiful? I'm obsessed with neon purple. It's my favorite. Let's show you Rave. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, here we are. This is their opaque neon blue Rave. It's like a turquoise. I love it. So cool. So cool. And now we got Techno, the fluorescent, ooh, Jesus, the fluorescent yellow. And here it is. Ooh, this one's a little thinner than I'd like it to be. It's good. It's good. It's good. See, so pretty. Techno. Techno, techno, techno. Okay, let's move on to Boogie. Boogie, boogie, boogie. With her opaque fluorescent orange. Okay. Beautiful. I love how rich they are. Because like sometimes the neons can really turn out like pretty like pale sometimes. So again, you really gotta knead that pigment into that varnish before adding the medium. So it'll just eat it on up. Isn't that pretty? And last, but certainly not least, my other fave, Inferno. Their opaque neon red. This was my first one I got because like I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, I need that color. I love the fluorescent red. It's just like so vibrant. Vibrant. Yes, it is. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So those are my neon, this little piggy pigments. They're amazing, obsessed. And I still have more pigments to get to that I love. I get some iridescents and some interferences. Obsessed with the interferences as well. Okay, let's show you those. Okay, so now some of the newest ones I've gotten actually are some iridescents. So I got Show Pony, which I thought was what I ordered when I got Hustle. I'm so glad I didn't get Show Pony. I got Hustle because I didn't realize Hustle was an opaque neon magenta. Like, hello, that's unheard of. Anyways, but I finally got Show Pony, and it is a magenta, but it's a glittery kind of color shifty purple magenta. It's really pretty. It looks a lot like Hustle, just not fluorescent. So, I mean, do I love it? Yes, I love them all. Will I die if I don't have it? Probably not, but it's still really pretty. So let me show you that one. Pretty, pretty, oh so pretty. I mean, it is. And then I've been eyeing this one for a minute. Sapphire. And oh, so beautiful. It's a rich, dark blue that just shimmers like you wouldn't believe. The only thing is, when you mix it with your medium, like my Valspar Reserve, maybe it would work better with something like Bare 8300. I don't know, maybe, because that one usually is better with keeping the color true to color, because this can slightly lighten if you don't, especially with the pigments. If you don't add enough pigment and you don't really need that pigment into the varnish beforehand, it'll just get lost. So let me show you what it looks like. It is the pigment, and then I'll show you what it looks like mixed up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I still love it though. Still love it. Gorgeous. But you know, I wish it was just a little bit more oomph when you get it all mixed up. But let me show you. Okay, so here it is. I mean, this damn ring light. So I mean, I guess you can't really see. What if I turn it off? Oh, then we're in darkness. Lighten it up, maybe. It's really, really, really just so pretty. It really is so pretty. Now this is what it looks like mixed up. It's just kind of muted. It's a little muted. I don't know if I'm not doing it right or something. Maybe I should use a different medium with this pigment, but it's a little muted. I mean, you still get that rich, vibrant, like blue shimmer in there, but it's just a little muted. I don't know. It's all right. Like I said, will I die if I don't have it? No, but it is beautiful. I love it. Okay, and now for my other favorites besides the neons is the interferences. Interferences are so cool. They look like almost nothing mixed up, and they all look just kind of like white as the pigment powder too. But their magic happens when it interacts with other colors that you're painting with. Like, for instance, if you swipe with black and you add some like sequins interference on your palette knife, it's gonna give your this shadow effect or glow effect, blur shadow effect, you know, underneath your cells that will glow violet. Woo-hoo-hoo. It adds depth, it adds dimension, it adds shimmer and glitter and beautiful glowing colors. It's so beautiful. So let me go ahead and I'll one by one show you all of them that I have. I have Twinkles, Sequins, Comet, Glisten, and now Shimmer. Okay, first up we have Sequins. This one is hands down my favorite. It is the violet interference, and oh, is it so pretty? Like I said, doesn't look like much, but man, when you get to painting with it, it changes the game. So, here we are. Consistency. Now these ones are always a lot lighter. Probably have a way lighter specific. They're not opaque, obviously. So they tend to be a little less firm, even when mixed up, but that's okay. Because these are more for effect, you know, to give that depth and that shadow and that glow to your piece. So that's Sequins. Okay, so now we have Comet and Twinkle mixed together, because I'm going to be real with you. Comet is I think it's like a pink, red, rose interference. It's very, I don't know. Maybe I haven't figured out a right way to use it. It doesn't do what, it doesn't fit in my pieces that well. And Twinkle's cool too. Twinkle is a color shift interference, so it will shift between violet and blue. As an interference. So it's really cool. But I found if I mix Comet and Twinkle together, it gives it it's like a triple shift, which then makes it the Comet way cooler, and it makes Twinkle cooler. So that is my twinkling Comet right there. Oh yeah, you can barely see it. But anyways, the consistency is all the same, very close to what you're trying to go for, but it is going to be a little more. Goes right back to its mold, you know? And then here is Glisten, which is my other favorite interference that I love. So Sequins and Glisten are my favorites. This is a green interference, and it's really cool. It's really pretty. It just adds an explosion effect, but subtle. Again, it's not gonna do much showing you it on camera because the consistency's close. It's close. But you're not going to see the effect until you paint with it, you know? And then last but not least is my new one, Shimmer. So this is Shimmer, which is a gold-green interference, and it really shimmers. It's a shimmer, and that's what I'm always going for. So far I've used it in 2 pieces last night that I'm going to include... that this video is going to be included in. Oh, what's this? Little chunk, not great. So again, I've used Shimmer here in the piece that is going to be in this video. So after you're done watching me do all this annoying talking about my paints, because I just really wanted to do this because they're so pretty, you're going to see me painting what I did last night, and I used this for the first time. Shimmer. I liked it. I like it. I'll probably like it better when I use it in a different way, but I was testing out some new bases, which I'll get to in a minute. So I was doing black and white base and, you know. Anyways, those are my interferences from this little piggy pigments. And now we'll move on. We'll move on to the rest, my Liquitex. Okay, so now I do use a few other colors. Like I said, if I don't have this little piggy pigments neons, I will use Liquitex neons. Right now, I've been using the green Liquitex, fluorescent green. I'll show you that consistency here in a minute. Now, I am almost out of Inferno, and I am almost out of Techno, and I'm out of Hustle, but there's no such thing as a neon magenta, unless, the only one I found is this little piggy pigments. So, you know, it is what it is. But, Liquitex, fluorescent red, Liquitex, fluorescent yellow. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. Not as beautiful and vibrant, and they're not opaque, but they're close. They're close. So I bought these as backups, but hopefully I'll be able to order some more Inferno and Techno soon. Now, Liquitex doesn't have neon purple. Artist Loft does, but it's a little too gentle for me. If I don't have Deja Vu or Funk, but I haven't tried Funk. That's from this little Piggy Pigments as well. I'll try that one next. I'll use Folk Arts Neon Purple, which is a really pretty vibrant color. It works. Gets the job done. Does the trick. So those are the backups that I like to use. Again, not opaque, but you know, it'll do. It'll do. And here's the consistency of my fluorescent green from Liquitex. Again, you can see matches the other guys, even though with Liquitex now, Liquitex is a much thicker tube paint. And so I still use the Reserve, the valspar Reserve, but it's really thick. So that's why I like to use the valspar. So yeah, with Liquitex, it's a much thicker tube paint. So, I mean, you can still use the valspar Reserve here, but it's just, this is so thick. So I like to use the valspar Ultra with my Liquitex paints. So I have two other paints that I like to use in my pieces every time, which is a deep magenta. Sometimes I'll get Artist Loft, but right now I'm working with Liquitex. I don't know how to say this. Quinacridone magenta, but it's beautiful. And ultramarine blue. This color is badass. I love ultramarine blue. I mean, like, who doesn't? It's just like, bam, blue. Yeah, I'm using it in Liquitex. And let me show you those guys' consistency. Again, I mix those guys with Valspar Ultra. Ultramarine blue. Ooh. Deep magenta. Okay, so that's my colors that I always like to use. I don't use them all every time. I mean, sometimes I do, but so I mix all my colors, regardless of what it is, with pigments and iridescents, primarily Valspar Reserve, Base C, and Satin, and Liquitex Valspar Ultra, Base C, Semi-Gloss, and always all of them with Jo Sonja Gloss Varnish. This works the best, hands down. And now let's talk about that activate. Okay, now the magic. This is usually the steps that I mix. I always mix my colors first, then my cell activator, sometimes my pillow, then my cell activator. It just depends on my mood. But you always, when it gets to painting time, you lay down your pillow first, then your colors, and then you swipe with your cell activator. And cell activator, so the magic, I think, has a lot to do with the Amsterdam brand paint. You always want it to be a heavy, opaque color. The higher the specific gravity weight, the better. So that's why I use Titanium White by Amsterdam, Oxide Black by Amsterdam, and Turquoise Green by Amsterdam. I like mine to be a little bit thicker, so I do a 1-to-1 ratio. I use 1 scoop of paint and then 1 scoop of, let me show you, Australian Floetrol, the magic elixir. Super, it's from Australia, so it's hard to get. But fluidart.co, where I get my This Little Piggy Pigments from, by Sheely Art, she makes it kind of affordable, like definitely affordable, because if you try to order anywhere else, it's like $30 plus like $60 for shipping. And with her, on her website, fluidart.co, it's only like $50. It sounds expensive, but this does last you a while. It's the magic. I mean, that's the secret. With some Amsterdam paint, and bam, bam, 1-to-1 ratio, because I like mine to be a little bit thicker, gives a little bit bigger cells that hold, in my opinion. Now, there is a way to do it with American Floetrol, but it gets way trickier, which I'll briefly touch on. If you don't have Australian Floetrol, you can use American Floetrol. You gotta up the ratio big time. So for every 1 scoop of paint, you're gonna put like 10 to 15 scoops of American Floetrol. And then for every scoop of American Floetrol, You're gonna add 3 drops at least, you know, you kind of have to like go with it, eyeball it a little bit, but 3 drops of Minwax Pre-Stain Wood Conditioner. And Minwax is only found at Lowe's, so yeah. And then on top of that, you gotta add a little bit of this, or glue, craft glue. I think what glue you use does matter, so I find that balsa basewood glue from Hobby Lobby works pretty good. A few little drizzles in there of that. And again, always use the Amsterdam paint, and it is doable. It mimics the Australian Floetrol pretty good. It's just way trickier. Okay, so my little girl woke up, so we're gonna have to cut this one short. But anyways, that's the cell activator. Now for my pillow, which is also complicated, I use Glidden Premium Base 1 in Satin mixed with American Floetrol. I eyeball it until I get that right consistency. You want it nice and stretchy, and where you put a pile and it just blurs out, but it still holds its shape. So it's a little bit tricky, but this guy tends to always work out. Now, I've been experimenting because I want to try, because this is base 1, meaning it's not tintable, and it's white. But I want to try different color bases. So this is what I've also been experimenting with. So I've been taking Glidden Premium Base 3 in, what did I get it in? Satin, right? Yeah, Satin. Because Base 3 is tintable. It's okay. So I've been using that with Amsterdam, Oxide Black, Liquitex, Ivory Black, and Deco Art Extreme Sheen Obsidian. Mix that together with a ton of American Floetrol and some Liquitex High Gloss Varnish, Creative Inspirations Gloss Polymer and Varnish Medium, and a little bit of the GAC 800 to help with crazying. And yeah, it's been working. It's been working. Sometimes not so great, other times really good. So yeah, you'll see how those ones went down here soon. What I do is I put my pillow down and then I lay the colors down in different shape, like patterns and blah, blah, blah. Then I put my cell activator on one of these palette knives, right, like this. And then I swipe over the colors. So I got this one from fluidart.co. They have the best palette knives as well. This one actually I got from Hobby Lobby, I think. They have good ones too. I like the bigger, fatter ones. This one's from Hobby Lobby. This one's great for like detail. This one's good too, Hobby Lobby. And this little guy for a little more detail. So those are the ones I mainly use with this tool here to do the swirls and the little modifications, and the straw to blow things out if I need to. I do have other palette knives, a bunch of other sizes, but these are the ones I mainly use. Let's paint. The mixing takes hours, sometimes days. I'll split it up into days. It's a while. Good thing I painted last night because my little girl woke up. But here we go. Let me show you how it went down with my pillow and all my colors and my cell activator. I think they turned out cool. They're a little dark, but you know what? I like it. So here we go. Okay, so this one turned out really long with me talking about all my new paints. So I'm posting this in 2 videos. So if you want to see everything in action that I just talked about, watch part 2, and then part 3 is coming soon because I did actually 2 paintings with all that paint I showed you.